Hey yo, Sharam here. I'm just doing a quick video from my computer as opposed to my phone or any super high value production camera and stuff. This video wanted to talk about the feelings of frustration and anger and sadness. And if you're ever going through a situation where you are feeling frustrated, angry, or sad, what to go through it with a perspective of surrender. If you don't know what it is, surrender is the extremely look at this crazy hair. Let's just make it crazier because I'm like looking at it. If you don't know what it is, surrender is the simple, powerful process of allowing yourself to feel your emotions, feel your reactions to things. That might be your negative reactions, that might be your positive reactions to what is going on underneath, which in itself is a very healing thing, but to surrender is a very healing thing, but also the process of ultimately when you surrender, you're letting your emotions run their emotional course, and ultimately what we do is we let them go. Now, there is a funny and very interesting rule about sadness, frustration, anger, all of this stuff, a lot of negative emotions that I find is very interesting, and that it's a rule that you can apply to a bunch of stuff, but I generally like it to sort of keep things a little bit time boxed with sadness and stuff, is that sometimes it's not the fact that we were sad. That wasn't the problem. Sometimes the problem isn't that we were angry. Sometimes the problem wasn't that we were upset. It was the fact that we weren't sad, upset, angry enough, if that makes sense. So, for example, with frustration, sometimes it's not the fact that you're frustrated, it's the fact that you weren't frustrated enough. I love this as an idea because it means two things. First of all, people, you people, me people, what we tend to do is we tend to resist certain negative feelings. So those might be that we are uncomfortable feeling sad, we're uncomfortable feeling frustrated, we're uncomfortable feeling scared. So we try and mitigate those feelings. We try and move away from them. We try and feel sad. We numb ourselves to them. We do things. We take active steps towards not feeling those things. Like, for example, frustration. Let's just stick with frustration for now. I'm feeling frustrated. Oh, I better try and solve the problem. That's fine. Solve the problem. That's not what I'm trying to say. But on an emotional level, on like an inner level, are we okay with feeling frustrated? I find what people do is most of the time not. Is that we, as a race, are very much inclined to try and avoid feeling frustrated. So as a result, we never fully process that frustration. So remember the rule. It's not that you were frustrated, it's that you weren't frustrated enough. And I love that. So what do? We surrender to the frustration. We surrender to everything, every goddamn thing. But we surrender to the frustration. We allow ourselves to fully feel frustrated. And then, as a result, the act of surrender itself is a healing thing. But as we surrender to that frustration, we say to ourselves, okay, I'm just going to feel frustrated. I'm going to feel in it. When I say frustrated, I feel it here. Where do you feel it? So we surrender to this frustration. We fully surrender to the frustration. Eventually, it runs out. Eventually, it runs its course. So just like a book, when you finish reading, oh God, my headphones. When you've finished reading your book, what do? Well, it's concluded. If someone asked you, how was that book? You'd be like, good, bad. What tends to happen is when we fully let go of something, we get what's called a concluding thought. A concluding thought is very much that. It's a realization. It's you have an expanded awareness. You've developed an expanded awareness where you can look at the original feeling, the original frustration, sadness, whatever, and realize that the glasses were on top of your head the entire time, and realize that it wasn't a big deal, or realize that maybe you shouldn't have been so frustrated, or realize that they were just kids and you were hurting yourself through them. We develop an expanded awareness, and I fucking love that. I love the expanded awareness, and it's really important to notice that we do have these realizations. So the rule is, in this video, sometimes it's not the fact that we were frustrated, it's the fact that we weren't frustrated enough. So it's the fact that we weren't sad, it's the fact that we weren't sad enough. We didn't let ourselves fully feel it. We didn't surrender to sadness. We didn't let ourselves become one with sadness and realize that sadness is in itself a problem. Maybe our attempt to mitigate sadness, our attempt to numb sadness. And I've talked a lot about anxiety. Same rule. Sometimes it's not the fact that we were anxious, it's the fact that we weren't anxious enough. I've talked about this in my own deal with anxiety. I literally developed a career around how to get past anxiety from my own and other people, only to then realize that there was going to be a point where I had to let go of my things, my mantras, my ideas, my methods of getting myself past my anxiety, and to realize that I had to fully surrender to it. It wasn't that I was anxious, it was that I wasn't anxious enough. So in my own journey, I surrendered to that. When I'm working with people one-on-one, we surrender to it. That's what working one-on-one is like. We surrender to it. This process can be done at any time, any point, any second, any day, all the fucking time. You do not have to write it down. You do not have to look in the mirror, although it does help if that's the purpose. I have meditations online at my website. Oh boy, buy them now. Which is around that. But at any time, we can fully submit and surrender to what we are feeling. And that is important, to look and realize that if we are saying something bad about ourselves, how does that make us feel? Can we surrender to that? It wasn't that the fact that we felt bad, it's that we didn't feel bad enough. Once we do, we are healed. The act of surrender is a healing thing in itself. Once we do, we let ourselves fucking free, and it's so interesting and exciting. These concluding thoughts that we develop are amazing. So healing does not cost anything. Working with me does, because there's an expertise. You go to a carpenter, you could build your own table, or you could ask a carpenter. You could figure this out for yourself, or you could ask a life coach. Things like that. That's why I charge for my time. But the practice itself, I really wanted to honestly make a career out of something that was the most accessible thing that I could think of. And honestly, it's emotional healing. It's the sense of self. It's the willingness to look at our emotions, to look at ourselves and be like, this is what I'm feeling. To admit we're feeling shit, and to fully feel shit, and to let it run its course. There is no forced positivity afterwards. There is just a sense of deep, resounding wholeness, and other people can feel that. We will not have to convince other people that we are happy, because they will know, because we will know. Other people doubt our happiness, our stability, our confidence, because we are not happy, stable, and confident. If we have something to defend, it's almost like other people know to attack it. It's really funny, because it's like we have no secrets. We have no secrets. It's written on our face. When I'm happy, what do I do? So happy. When I'm sad, what do I do? It's written on our face. It's written on our goddamn fucking face. So we might as well start admitting it to ourselves, because everyone else fucking knows it. All right, thank you so much for watching this. If you do want to work with me one-on-one, you can contact me directly. And if you like this videos, honestly, ask a question. I want to know. I want to know if you have a specific question about surrender, about a situation you're going through, about relationships, about love, about what the fuck is going on inside here and inside here, and maybe some other bits too. So, all right, I'll talk to you soon.